Returning to Gaza now, where half the population is starving and the rest could be in famine by May. Just before coming on air, I spoke to UNICEF Spokesperson James Elder, who had been at the Rafah crossing, where he said lines of aid trucks are attempting to cross.
Hundreds and hundreds of trucks, everything that is needed this side in Gaza, given the absolute criticality of people on death's door when it comes to food. So food, water, medicines, tents, shelter, it's cold right now. All the things people need here in Gaza are just a few miles away, the other side of that border. It's ridiculous.
What's stopping those supplies from getting in?
Restrictions. I mean, it's really clear. There is the occupying power has a legal responsibility to ensure that this aid can come in. And we have talked about this. We have cried out the United Nations broadly to get more aid in, to get rid of those restrictions, to open up more access points. I mean, it's great that we'll take aid any way it can come for the people of Gaza. And that ship that came, fantastic. But that's about the same as 12 trucks. I passed hundreds of trucks the other day. There are access points, 5 or 6. You could get it coming in through the north. It could literally be with people in an hour or so rather than airdrops. So it's been very clear why the restrictions are there. It's just now we are finally seeing the lethal impact of those restrictions on aid getting to children and families.
And I suppose to put it in perspective, I think around 500 aid trucks were needed every single day before this war started. How much aid is getting in at the moment?
A fraction of that. January was probably the worst month. Now around 100 trucks, but again, less to the north. So a fraction of what is needed. And there have been periods where no trucks came in. So on an average, maybe around 100, but not nearly enough. Now we need more than the 500 because of the critical nature of people's health here. Famine is imminent. We've got something like 90% of children have had an infectious disease. These two things come together as we are seeing them do now, and they can be just as lethal as the thousands and thousands of airstrikes that have killed thousands and thousands and thousands of children.
For its part, Israel said it's doing everything it can to flood Gaza from the air and the sea with aid. Is there evidence of that?
Well, there's evidence that famine is imminent. There's evidence of the most catastrophic levels of hunger for a population since these surveys were done globally for 20 years. There's evidence I see when I walk around Rafah here where people have been displaced 3 or 4 or 5 times, still looking for somewhere safe. There's evidence of more airstrikes. There's evidence of children who are gaunt. There's evidence of the worst aspects of humanity. There's not enough evidence of the type of aid that these children need.
James Elder, you also visited Nasser Hospital. How did it compare to the last time you were there?
It was devastatingly sad. Nasser Hospital is no more. Physically, it is a structure, but it's not a hospital. It was the largest still functioning hospital in south of Gaza. When I used to go there, yes, it was traumatic because you had so many children with the wounds of war, right? The shrapnel, the burns, the broken bones. But these doctors were heroic as they moved around and gave this incredible care to children who still need it because of the bombardments. Now, after the offensive in Khan Yunis, and Khan Yunis is as devastated an area as I have seen in 20 years with the United Nations, the hospital is non-functioning. So those children now, just to give you one example, a little girl I sat with months ago, to a right arm and her right leg amputated, needs deep psychological care, still needs physical care, obviously. She was in Khan Yunis, Nasser Hospital. She's somewhere now in a tent in Rafah. Her story is very special, but numerically it's not unique. There are lots of children like that now.
OK, James Elder, spokesperson for UNICEF. Thank you for speaking to us from Rafah this evening.